What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Good seeing you again. So this video is going to be a Q&A of all the questions that I've had since I started this channel. So what I did was I went through the comments, picked out all the questions that were in there, period, all of them, and decided to do a Q&A on it. Now this is going to be a very long video, so what I did was I chopped it into two. So I think this one's about 15 minutes. I don't want to make it any longer than that just because our attention spans are not the same as it used to be, but it's got a good chunk of information in here. So the whole point of this video is this. I used to sit in a room and I used to hear people have Q&As or questions for Brian, and I used to watch Brian answer these questions. And I never realized that I had some of the questions that these guys had until they asked them. So I realized the people who are asking questions in these comment sections have really great questions, and the answers might help you guys get unstuck from wherever you are in the dating sphere. So I want to go ahead and give and pour into you guys as much as I can to get you guys to be more confident, get you guys to be more powerful, show more masculine, have more sex, have more hookups, have more interesting experiences with women, have women relate to you different, have you relate to women differently, and really just to change your overall dating life. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Hit like and subscribe so that you don't miss the videos that are coming out. I'm going to be pouring out into you guys over the next few months just to really sharpen you guys up and get you guys out there having fun in your dating life, because it's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a drag. It's not supposed to be scary, maybe a little scary, but not supposed to be scary to the point where you're feeling enabled to talk to women. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into our first question. So our first question comes from the video Bar Nightclub, creating a connection that leads to seduction. Now this is from Irvin Mitchell. It says, I definitely noticed the energetic pull. We're talking about having a vibe when you go into the club that women can feel energetically. So it says, I definitely notice the energetic pull. I just get confused by the hot and cold sometimes with women. I also question what I know for a fact is true. I do that less and less as it becomes more natural. How do we release the doubt that still lingers even after we get good with women? So this is a really good question. And the truth is this, the doubt that lingers even though you're having results will start to dissipate and completely vanish over time. And you may still get a little bit, like you will still get maybe 5% of that voice still kicking in. But here's what will happen. You'll start to have more dates, right? You start to have more girls interested in you. You start to have more fun experiences, more hooking up, hanging out. Things will start working. And then you'll still have that voice in the back of your head that's kind of saying, hey, I'm not that guy. I don't know how these experiences are happening. You may feel like you're getting lucky, right? Or that it's a numbers game. But the truth is you're actually becoming more of a natural. You're actually getting more confident, right? So that voice is going to be back there gnawing at you like, okay, I'm not that guy. These are all just one-off experiences. It's not going to happen again. And then it does happen again. And then it happens again after that. And it happens even more after that. And next thing you know, you're dating more women than you know what to do with. And you still have that voice in the back of your head. Truth is, over time, here's what's going to happen. The voice that's gnawing at you will start to decrease because the voice that supports you starts to really show up. And that voice sounds like this. Whenever that negative doubt comes up, and it'll say, oh, I'm not that good with women, women don't want to talk to me. You'll have this little voice in the back that says, well, yeah, the last girl I talked to liked me a lot. Like, she was laughing, she was giggling, she gave me her number. The girl last week I talked to gave me her number. I went on a date with this girl, I hooked up with this girl. That voice will start coming in more and more. And it takes time. So you gotta keep going out, doing the repetitions, having the experiences, and then letting that voice start to have more power. And once it does, it'll take over. You'll start to hear that voice 85% of the time, and then 90% of the time. And eventually you won't even hear the doubt. And the minute you do hear the doubt, it'll shut off and it'll be combated by that voice that's actually trying to work in your favor. So anyways, based off your comment, man, it sounds like you're starting to get more natural at this stuff. Don't worry about it. Let the doubt be there. Don't play into it. Just physically go out and do the actions that you've been doing to get you this far. And I guarantee you that voice will shut up. On to our next question. So the next question comes from the video that I have called The Commons Guy Wins the Girl. The user is ripped up 4546. It says, hi, Anthony. I like your content so far. I'm curious about grounding a group of women and transferring emotions to the group as well. I know transferring emotions is done through feeling, being grounded, and eye contact. But what's the best way to do that to a group? So this is another really good question. And you gotta realize this. It's hard enough for most guys to open up one girl, let alone two girls. And if you're doing bigger groups, 3s and 4s, it's gonna be a little bit more challenging, right? The challenge is this. The challenge is at the tension. So if you've gotten to a point where you can handle a good amount of tension, group shouldn't be a big deal for you. But if you're at a point where groups are a big deal for you and it's pretty challenging, then you're going to need to go in and practice and get feedback, right? So the way you do this is this. This is how you work with 3 girls, 2 girls, 4 girls, 5 girls plus. Realize this. When you go into these interactions, you're the orchestrator, meaning that this is your orchestra and you're orchestrating. You're the cause of the interaction. You walk up to them and you open them up. They're all gonna be looking at you. What do you want, right? Maybe not so aggressive, but they're all looking at you like, okay, what do you have to say? So you have to be prepared for this. And the way you do this is, remember, it's an orchestra. You're playing the orchestra. You are the leader in this. This is when your masculine ability to lead becomes super vital, right? So as you're talking to these girls, you're giving energy equally to each girl that you're talking to, right? And you're looking at them as a whole, and you're talking to them as a group. You're not just talking to one girl and then isolating the other 2 or 3, because that can go really bad for you when you do that, right? 2 girls can get pretty bored or feel isolated, and they start to pull the girl that you want to talk to. Talk to all of them. Get a good idea of the girl that you want to talk to more, which one are you actually showing more interest to. And as you're doing this, start to send little flirting jabs at her, right? As you're talking to friends, you could be like, oh, you guys are cool, but I like your friend here, she's real cute. Right, reach down and shake her hand a little bit, right? And just kind of give that vibe. And you might get a little pushback from the friends, right? Oh, she has a boyfriend. She may not. And then you can kind of look at her and be like, okay, is that true? You got a boyfriend? You're right. Or you can poke at her. You can be like, nah, she ain't got no boyfriend, right? You are being the lead. You're bringing the fun. You're bringing the energy to the interaction. That's all they want. The friends are going to test you because the friends want to know if you're a good guy for the friend. So they're going to shit test you. They're probably going to shit test you more than she's going to shit test you, because she's probably even more shy that you put it out there like that. And that's okay. This is where your ability to ground comes in. And when you really master the grounding part of this, and then you start to handle those shit tests very groundedly, open and free, the friends will start to like you. And once the friends start to like you, they start rooting in your favor, meaning that they start supporting you, hanging out with her. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll get lost and give you time to spend with her, right? So then you could be like, you know, hey, let's go hang out over here, right? And they'll let you kind of leave with her. Those are really good indicators that the friends are your support and that they're rooting for you. So when you get girls on your side and they're rooting for you and supporting you, that's how you know you got it. And if the friends are not supporting you and they're kind of being difficult, I would just leave the interaction. Just go talk to somebody else who wants to be talked to, because sometimes you can get a group of girls who are just stale, right? Maybe the one that you want to talk to is open, but the other 2 are kind of like, they're not having a good day. And it's not your job to entertain them to that degree. If they're kind of being bitchy like that, just let them go talk to somebody else. But it is your job to be the masculine lead in these interactions and run the orchestra, but have fun doing it and stay grounded. It'll work in your favor. On to the next question. So our next question is from Sun M Foon, or Sun M Fune. And this is from the video, Too Nervous to Approach. The question is this. He says, this is why I love you, man. Thanks for sharing. Oh, you're welcome. It says, I'm trying to learn how to feel my turn on first for the girl in my body and not on her. And I think what he's saying is he's trying to learn how to feel his turn on for the girl when he's in his body by himself and not when he's engaging with her. And so far I'm improving. What other advice do you have for me, Anthony? Son, that's a really great question. And I'm glad that you're starting to have some progress with it. Now, check this out. Turn on doesn't just have to be for women. Turn on could be with anything that you find interest in. It could be with music. It could be with guitars. It could be with racing cars. It could be with nature. You like going out on hikes. You like to jump out of planes. You like to play video games. Whatever you get you excited, whatever gets you going, there's a turn on in that. Think about a guitarist when he's playing the guitar and how he really gets into that guitar, right? And you can look at him, his whole body is just into it. It's almost as if he's making love to the guitar, like physically and emotionally making love to this guitar like it's a beautiful woman. That's what he's doing. There's no different than when you are learning to be aroused in front of women, right? And I don't mean like having a boner necessarily aroused, but you're having that sexual flow of energy. A woman shows up on a date, she's got a sexy ass dress on, and she's just done up real nice. Your body has a response to that. Your body's just like, wow, And to me, when that happens, I get energy flowing up and down my body, but more so definitely in that lower body region, right under the stomach, right there in the crotch. Like there's a bit of energy there. And what I like to do is I like to soak in that energy for a little bit and let it take over my whole body. Because when I'm talking to her, especially when I'm giving her eye contact and I'm looking at her and I'm talking to her, she can feel how turned on I am, right? And it's not like outrageous over the top turn on, like, oh my God, I'm so horny. It's almost just like, it's really mellow and almost very seductive the way I'm talking to her and the way I'm looking at her. Now, how do you practice that when you're by yourself? Well, like I said earlier, find something that you're into. If you can go out into the woods, find a big ass tree that you're actually interested in and that you could actually be turned on for. It could be literally anything. Practice being turned on with objects, interest. So that way you start to get a really clear idea of what it means to feel your turn on versus to not have any turn on at all. Some guys think they're feeling the turn on, but they're actually not. So get really clear about it. Try with different objects, try with different hobbies, try with different interests. And you'll know when you get it because it feels really silky smooth. It feels really good in your body. And I would add this to it too, which is very, very important because a lot of guys will have some turn on and that's all they'll have, meaning that this is the only part of their body they can feel. But they won't have any heart, which is very scary and can be very threatening. It can be very primal to women, especially when these women don't know you. So learn how to access the heart too. Learn how to find that nice somber feeling in your heart, that nice charming warmth in your heart, and pair it with the turn on, and especially the stomach too, but that's a whole nother video we can do that on. Bring those two together and the women will find you warm, like warm energy, but also warm and sexy. And that's what you want. So I hope I answered your question, buddy. Anyways, on to our next question. So Spectra Shine asks, do you know any way of developing the feeling of curiosity? So that's a really good question. And here's why it's a good question. Most guys don't understand what it means to have a sense of curiosity. And it's no wonder that when they're on the date with girls, it goes flat. I see guys get girls off Tinder, off Bumble to go on dates with them. And when they get on the dates, they don't end in sex. Instantly, the thing that comes to me is that they're not showing enough curiosity, right? Or they're in their heads. But mainly for me, it's curiosity. When you meet a girl on Tinder, or you meet a girl on Bumble, or you meet a girl on the street, there needs to be a level of curiosity there. To find out who she is, what's she like, what does she like? Because when you do this, it starts to break her guard down a little bit. She starts to become more relaxed. She starts to feel more seen and heard. And to them, they need that in order to get to the level of attraction that's going to lead to sex, that's going to lead to another date, that's going to lead to a relationship. They need that. So when I'm on a date with a girl, let's say I met her on Tinder, or I met her on Bumble, or if I didn't meet her on either of those platforms and I met her on the street, it was an Insta date. When I'm sitting there across from her at the cafe, wherever we're sitting at, or even if we're just walking, I'm like, so what's your story? Like, tell me about you. Who are you? And I do this all the time because a part of me is genuinely curious. Like, I want to know your life story. I don't know you. I just met you. Who are you? And I can do it in a fun, playful way. I can do it in a very flirtatious way. Like, oh, you're mysterious. Like, tell me about you. Or I can do it in a very serious way where I'm like, tell me your life story. Like, I don't know nothing about you. You're super quiet. You don't talk much. What do you do in your life? And you'll see girls start to surrender. They'll start to let down their guard a little bit. They start to let you in. 1% here, 2% there, 3% here. And because you're doing that, as their guard's coming down, they're getting more familiar with you, right? You're getting more familiar with them. And if you're not judging them for who they are, they get even more comfortable with you. And then that makes it easier to lead to sex, hookups, interesting experiences, second dates, potentially girlfriend, whatever, right? But you have to get curious. You have to be able to let go of yourself when you're on a date. And this is the problem. Guys get in their head. They're so worried about how nervous they feel, how scared they feel, how the woman feels about them and what the woman thinks about them, that they never relax enough to even care to ask much about them in that way. So you guys gotta drop being nervous. You guys gotta go away from yourself. Put more interest on her. And then you notice in turn, she gets more curious about you. And when a girl is getting curious about you, that's where things really start. So I hope that answers your question. Go out there and get curious. Honest curiosity, authentic curiosity is the best. And I hope you have success with this. All right, guys, so we're gonna move on to our final question, and then I'll see you guys in part 2 of our next video. So this question is from Devin, not Devin, 9998. I knew my comments would be heard. Emoji, emoji, emoji. Laughing out loud, thanks. Question, if I focus my attention to my feet and keep my attention on my feet, will that ground me? Devin, good question, man. So let's talk about grounding, and let's talk about the feet and all that, right? So for a period of time, while you're learning what grounding is, what grounding actually feels like, you're gonna have to be in practice with it for a bit. Now, yes, you consciously have to bring your presence to your feet so that you can learn to let nervous energy, chaotic energy, tense energy ground through your feet, through your body. If I'm hanging out with a chick, 90% of the time, I'm in my feet. I can feel them. I can feel them rooted into the ground. I can feel all the energy, any chaos, any nervousness, anything that spikes up on me, just straight down like that. And it keeps me from getting caught in the chaos. So make a practice of just being aware of the ground beneath you when you walk. That's it. Just make a conscious awareness practice of being aware of the ground beneath you as you're walking. Same thing as you're standing. Now you could even relax on one leg. Like right now I'm relaxed on my left leg. And as I'm doing that, I'm doing a check-in. Is there any tightness in my calves? Is there any tightness in my knees, behind my knees? Is there any tightness in the hamstring? How about in my hips? Because once you relax each of those tight spots, you'll start to feel a flow of a surge, a flow of something going down to your feet or up from your feet. And so as I'm talking to somebody, especially a woman, I'm always feeling this flow of energy go up and down this leg, because I know that if I get tense or tight anywhere in the body and energy is stuck, I'm gonna go right up to my head, or I'm gonna get very reactive. And the grounding keeps me from being reactive. When I shoot these videos, the grounding keeps me from being reactive. I don't like being on camera, so I have to ground myself in this. When you're in an argument with somebody, or somebody's arguing with you, you ground yourself, feet into the earth. Don't get caught in their chaos. Don't get caught in their tornado. This is no different than when you've got a girl shit testing you, especially if you're in a group of 3, and let's say you got friends and they're all poking at you because you're the orchestra, right? You're the leader. They're gonna be poking at you. They're gonna be testing you, see what kind of guy you are. Ground this leg. Whenever I'm in a situation with a group of girls like that, and I'm grounded in my leg and they're coming at me with shit, I just start smiling. Like I just start laughing, like, cause it feels good. It's just like, oh, these girls are talking shit. And okay, cool, I got something for them. And because I'm not getting tight in my body, tense, tight in my throat, tight in my gut, tight in my stomach, it's easy to come up with something very witty to say, to just throw them off. So I hope this really drives the point home about the feet. It has to be a constant practice consciously until it starts to pick up on its own, and it will pick up on its own. Next thing you know, you go outside and all of a sudden you can feel the ground beneath you, and you don't even have to focus on it anymore. It just becomes a part of you. So keep doing it until it gets to that point. When it gets to that point, you will never lose your grounding again. All right, guys, love shooting this video for you. Stay tuned for the next video, part 2. There's a ton of good content coming down the pipeline. If you're interested in doing some work in person, reach out to me. I do one-on-one coaching. I do group coaching with model work. I also do online coaching as well. So if that's something that you want to do, reach out. Let's chat. Let's see if it's a good fit for you. Anyways, I'll see you guys in next week's video. Peace.